We got Kevin Owens, a.k.a. Kevin Steen, damn it. Kevin Owens versus Y2J, the Lionheart himself, Chris Jericho.
Yeah, before we discuss this, I got to go on Jericho for a minute.
Okay.
Because I can remember his first match in the WCW.
I remember his opening line in WWF when he interrupted none other than the most electrifying man in sports entertainment, The Rock. Not anybody can interrupt The Rock.
No, but he come out, and I can't remember who he wrestled. I know that he won by DQ.
Yeah.
Right? Somebody come running in, hit him, and he gets the win. He says, no, reverse that. I don't want my first match to be like this.
Nice.
Now,
that's a stand-up guy.
This was coming out of ECW, knowing that you may have the ECW curse, so you now know you have to make it on your own.
Yep. Jericho has, on his own,
and
his whole career.
In fairness, as much as I hate seeing Jericho with another title, I'm sorry, you're old, Jericho, I love you.
At least he got the U.S., though. I mean, that was the one belt that was eluding him.
And that's why I'm not too terribly mad about it. It's the one I was, okay, yeah, you kind of deserved that one 10 years ago.
Is Jericho close to retirement, then?
I give it 5 years.
I don't even give it that. I give it before WrestleMania next year. Jericho don't need the money. I mean, he's
that's
still...
only because of other projects.
He's still got all of his pet projects. I mean... Hell, that's the inspiration behind this podcast right here, is Jericho has a podcast, so I'm like, well, fuck. Jericho, I want to be Jericho, so why shouldn't I just do a podcast? And that's why I'm sitting here. Let's see. I'm going to go Owens to take the belt at WrestleMania, but that's because I think that they have something else in store for Jericho. Maybe one last push for the championship. Maybe he hangs on to it until SummerSlam, where he drops it there to, like, say, a Sami Zayn. I kind of like that storyline better. I like Owens. The only reason I like Owens is because they're going in this new direction of it's going to be who I think is the new clique, faction, what have you, of the WWE, and it's going to be like Triple H at the top, and then we have Samoa Joe and Kevin Owens. I'm pretty sure they're going to try to fit Brock Lesnar in there somehow. And then I think they're going to pull one out of left field and put a woman in a faction. And we're going to get Charlotte Flair in a faction of the most dominant stars on the WWE roster.
So, in other words, a DX ripoff?
Kind of a DX legacy evolution ripoff of everything. Not really a legacy, more I was thinking evolution, but
well, legacy does work because
it served its purpose by purposely serving. I mean, Randy Orton
and Cody Rhodes are probably the only two members of the group that actually deserve to be there.
Yeah.
Sorry, I've never liked $1 Million Man.
I haven't either. But Cody Rhodes is another one of those. I really hope he comes back. I hope Cody Rhodes graces us with his presence again. Have you seen what he's doing? I know you're not as big on the indie scene as I am, but there's about 4 or 5 wrestlers who, once they leave the WWE, their name gets bigger. Matt Hardy, Broken Matt. Nobody can top Broken Matt right now. But right beneath him, Cody Rhodes making a name for himself. I like his new moniker, the American Nightmare. Kind of an homage, tip of the hat to his dad, the American Dream.
Well, man, like you know me, I'm old school. I tend to stay off the internet as much as possible unless I'm doing interviews and stuff like this.
Of course.
You know? But, you know, I hope well for these guys in the independents. I'm not far from being there myself.
Planning on going to school.
Plan on going to school come next year.
Nice.
I'm going to try to get my name out there. That's why, Capt Cannabis is here to do Weed on Wrestling with you.
Oh, yes. So, let's see. Continuing on down the line at WrestleMania, we're going to have what looks to be Austin Aries versus Neville.
Oh, Austin Aries.
Gotta be. Somebody's got to beat Neville.
Like and we were bashing on TNA earlier, but you know what? I got to give it to TNA, Impact Wrestling.
Impact Wrestling.
Right, I got to give it to them, right? They knew what they were doing with certain talents. They squandered other people like Abyss. Could have been used really, really well.
Yeah, they could have used Rhino better.
Rhino was an ECW original that did better in WCW.
He's got a good run going now with him and Heath Slater competing on SmackDown for the tag team belts. Not bad. They had a lot of good talent there, though. Like Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, Evan Bourne. Like, you got a lot of talent there. You had Raven for a little while on Impact or TNA, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, you got people like Conan.
Yeah.
From back in the WCW.
I never liked him, though. He's one of my top 10 most hated wrestlers, believe it or not.
And that's exactly why.
Yeah.
There's characters that I can't stand. Just certain wrestlers that, in all fairness, if I was bigger than them, it'd be over.
Yeah.
I'm not. So
there was certain wrestlers, there still is to this day, certain wrestlers where if they come on the screen, I will either mute it or change the channel. And it was so much easier whenever you had the Monday Night Wars going on to where you could just
switch over
to the other channel. Like, I knew that anytime, like, D'Lo Brown came on my screen on the WWF network, I could not change the channel to TNN or TNT fast enough to watch WCW. But then at the same time, anytime I heard Viva la Raza, no, that was Eddie Guerrero. Eddie Guerrero was Viva la Raza.
Orale,
yeah.
Arriba la Raza.
Yeah. I could not fucking stand Conan. There was just certain wrestlers. But D'Lo Brown, it stems far deeper with my hatred of him. I was a huge Draws fan. And for D'Lo to break Draws' neck, I know it was an accident and I can't hate the man and he needs to apologize, but still at the same time, I was a teenager, I liked the puking dude, and then...
See, I couldn't watch that.
The wrestler I hated the most broke the neck of one of my most favorite wrestlers. Imagine my frustration as a young child.
Okay, but again, you gotta remember, most of this is kayfabe. Now, yes,
I didn't know what kayfabe was whenever I was 12, 13
Draws really got his neck broken.
Yeah.
No, it was not D'Lo's fault.
It was an accident.
Yes, D'Lo did do the move, but it was not his fault by any means.
And, like, as I grow older, I know not to fault certain people. Like, for the longest time, I blamed Owen. And I couldn't blame Owen.
See, in that, I can.
I don't know. You have to put blame. If you put blame anywhere, it's 51-49 in Owen's fault. Yeah, Owen probably shouldn't have jumped up, but Austin shouldn't have let himself drop that low. It was on Austin to hold himself up on Owen's hips.
Austin never gave him a chance to position. He put him in the hold and dropped.
And while I've
watched the tape, and I've watched it repeatedly. I've even watched it on slow-mo. There's a tap. Hey, I'm not ready.
As he's going down?
Yeah.
See, I don't know. Anytime you start talking about it like a career-threatening injury and stuff like that, I know the person feels bad enough who did it. So I have a hard time, as I get older these days, I have a hard time putting blame, like saying, hey, it's your fault that you injured that person. Because I know it's an accident. I know shit happens that is completely out of your control.
But it's an accident that could have been lessened.
Yeah, and it could have been avoided. I get that. But anyway, we need to switch gears to a happier topic because we could really kill the vibe that we have going.
We're going to avoid that rabbit hole.
We'll get into that rabbit hole another time.
So we're back to
WrestleMania. People fighting at WrestleMania. We have Jericho Owens. Who you got?
No, I'm going to say Jericho. Forgive my little rant for a second there, guys.
Oh, you're good.
Memory lane and all.
Yep.
All right, what else we got? Women's going up this year?
Yeah. Yeah, let's see. We got Charlotte versus Sasha versus Bayley on the Raw side. And on the SmackDown side, it's kind of Alexa Bliss versus everybody. I have a feeling it's going to be a fatal four-way. Alexa Bliss versus Mickie James versus Natty versus Becky Lynch. And I'm going to pull my wild card on this one. I say Asuka walks out of SmackDown Women's Champion. Out of WrestleMania, she's Women's Champion for SmackDown. Daniel Bryan said it's champion versus everybody in the locker room.
She would be there.
That's just, in my opinion.
Good come-uppins. I've seen some of Asuka's stuff, man, and it's one of those. I have watched the women's division from WCW and WWF at the same time, and I have to say WWF to be very specific. Yeah. We're talking about the Monday Night Wars.
I mean, besides Lita and Trish Stratus, I've never seen a competitor like Asuka on the card. She's one of a kind, in my opinion.
You know, I've got my 3 all-time favorites from the WWE, and it would always be Trish, Lita, and Mickie James.
Yeah.
Not necessarily in that order. It depends on the year.
Yeah.
Like, don't forget, guys, May 19th.
Yep. I Thank you, Kane. I've got to go Raw side. I'm going to go Charlotte. She's just a dominating force. And then my SmackDown pick is Asuka. If she doesn't come up, I'm saying Mickie James walks out WrestleMania, your champ.
Okay, I'll agree with you on the Mickie James. It's time for Charlotte to lose the title at a pay-per-view.
Really? Well, she lost here the last weekend at Fastlane to Bayley, but it was kind of a little bit Sasha's fault.
Was it for the title?
Yeah. So, but Bayley came in the champ. I don't know. There's
Bayley had the belt pre. Okay, so,
Yeah, so her undefeated streak.
You got to forgive me. I'm a little bit behind on some of this. I'm a wrestling fan, but I don't have cable.
It happens. Let's see. We have Dean Ambrose versus Baron Corbin, our Maryville buddy, Baron Corbin. Let's see. For the Intercontinental Championship, I've got to go with Ambrose. We don't crown Corbin yet.
I've been body slammed by Corbin. I give it to Corbin.
Dude was a bouncer. He hurts. He hurts people.
He'd apologize before he'd hit you. I tell you what, that was one of the nicest bouncers there was. I'm going to hit you. I'm sorry. Wow. And you listened.
And yeah, I'm going to say Ambrose retains. You're saying Corbin gets the belt at Mania?
He shouldn't, but it's never what we want.
Yep, it's not about us. It's what Vince wants, and Vince loves big, sweaty men. Corbin is a big, sweaty man. Then we have... What do we have next? Tag team on Raw is going to be... See, this one confuses me, because right now it's Gallows and Anderson, and we're having a number one contenders match Monday. Cesaro and Sheamus versus... I forgot. Oh, Enzo and Cass.
God, no. Don't give it to Enzo and Cash.
Yeah, I don't...
Cash can't carry the whole team for a tag title.
No, he's too unproductive. He'll be in the ring for 5 minutes. I mean, whenever you tag in Big Cass, he's a hot tag. I mean, when he comes in, he dominates and he's a success. But at the same time, Enzo cannot carry a match for that long of that caliber. I don't even think they're going to make it. I think it's going to be Cesaro and Sheamus at Mania versus Anderson and Gallows. It's not what I wanted to see. What I wanted to see is Anderson and Gallows taking on the New Day, and then Finn Balor coming back at WrestleMania. So kind of make it a Bullet Club versus New Day at WrestleMania.
It'd definitely be a new day for the New Day on that one.
Yeah, because they have never faced competitors like the Bullet Club. But I don't think that's what we're going to get. I think what we're going to get is Cesaro and Sheamus versus Gallows and Anderson at Mania. If that's the match, I'm taking Cesaro and Sheamus.
As much as I hate Festus.
Festus. Well, you can't forget about his little stint in the Straight Edge Society.
Yeah. I wasn't going to neglect that, but it's how does Vince McMahon forget that he once wrote this guy in, and I'm sorry, Anderson, for this, or is it Gallows?
It's either one.
I don't really know. At this point, I guess, that you were a big, dumb, redneck retard, that when they rang the bell, you became a killing machine.
Yep.
Ding, 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 motherfucker. Yeah. We're coming.
Yeah. I gotta go Cesaro and Sheamus, though. The push with Sheamus here lately, making him a face, I couldn't have done it better myself.
Cesaro's a face.
Yeah.
The Swiss Superman, as they call him, doing the Swiss 1-9, which I'm sorry you were too tall to be doing a move like that.
You gotta admire his commitment, though. I mean, he only hits it like 3 out of 10 times, but you gotta admire him,
He's gonna hurt somebody.
Or
he's gonna kill somebody like Gray did.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that is true. Alright, SmackDown Tag Team Champs. It's American Alpha. It's gonna be American Alpha. And they might as well not even take anybody on. I don't even know who their number one contenders are, and it doesn't matter. If it isn't Tyler Breeze and Fandango Breezango, then I don't give a fuck. Hashtag save Tyler Breeze. Hashtag save Rusev. By the way, they are my What About Me segment dedicated to Raven in his Attitude Era. What about me? What about Raven? Well, this week's What About Me competitors are Tyler Breeze and Rusev. Didn't see either one of them on either SmackDown or Raw. So hashtag save Tyler Breeze, hashtag save Rusev, and hit me up on Twitter, Weed on Wrestling. Weed on Wrestling. Moving on to the next segment of who else we have competing.